Yeah, when I first met, I thought she was fly. I was like, oh, she's kind of cute.
Fly.
Yeah, she was cool. She was cool. You know what I'm saying? She was cute. And I was like, oh, okay. And then one day, I remember she was helping a monolingual Spanish speaker customer, and she was speaking Spanish. I was like, hey, that sister, she studied Spanish deep. I took Spanish 1 and 2, and I ain't got it like that. And then she was like, oh, then we were talking about it. She's like, oh, I'm Puerto Rican. I was like, oh, but you're just a light-skinned sister.
Welcome to Couples Unfiltered. I'm Lionel, a retired Marine drill instructor and master sergeant, and a widower learning to navigate life after loss.
And I'm Natalie, a retired nurse, also widowed. And now together, we're navigating grief, healing, midlife changes, family dynamics, and everything in between.
Join us as we have real, unfiltered conversations about love, loss, and relationships.
We'll share stories, talk to others about their journeys, and drop a few cheat codes for making relationships work.
Listen, it's raw, it's real, and it's unfiltered.
Let's get started. What happens when a friendship built years ago becomes a foundation for a love strong enough to survive life's hardest moments? In this deeply moving episode of Couples Unfiltered, we sit down with Rob and Emilee McGowan, a couple married for more than 28 years, whose relationship began as friendship long before they imagined the life they would eventually build together. After blending their families and welcoming children of their own, their journey took an unimaginable turn when they lost their son, Myles, to a rare pediatric brain cancer. Instead of letting grief define them, Rob and Emilee transformed heartbreak into purpose, creating Myles Ahead of Cancer, a nonprofit supporting families navigating childhood cancer, caregiving, and loss. Beyond advocacy, they continue helping others through coaching, leadership, and honest conversations about healing, accountability, and growth. This is a conversation about love, friendship, resilience, grief, and what it really means to keep choosing each other through life's most difficult chapters. This is Rob and Emilee McGowan.
Welcome back to Couples Unfiltered, Season 3. My goodness, we're still here, baby.
Oh. I'm happy to be here.
I am. I'm glad to be.
Juneteenth season, so I get a little, stressed out.
Oh, yeah. My lovely wife is working her butt off, and thankfully she was honored for the hard work that she has been doing. She was, what was it? It was a nomination, yes.
Distinguished Woman of the Year.
Distinguished Woman of the Year. So very proud of her, very proud of her accomplishments.
Congrats.
But let's go ahead and get into this episode, Season 3 of Couples Unfiltered. We are sitting down with a couple, and how we met was incredible. Before we even spoke words to each other, before we even introduced ourselves to each other, we were holding hands and saying a prayer, which is just godsend. So I'm very happy to introduce to Couples Unfiltered to all of you, Rob and Emilee. Welcome.
Oh. Hello.
Thank you. No, I think before the prayer you were rapping.
Yeah, right. Right.
I think you was busting a hot 16.
Okay, bars.
Yeah, that was one of those nights. Yeah.
Well, you have it on film.
Oh, nice. Love it.
I have evidence.
I got the receipts.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Bribery.
It was a hot 16.
Oh, my goodness. I appreciate
It was a hot 16. Might get you a deal.
Hey, I tell you, I'll write for somebody.
You know, he has an album.
Really?
He has an album on Apple's and Spotify.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to have to look that up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll share it.
Yeah, he has to tell you what it's called and what his name is, because it isn't Lionel.
I don't know how that would fare as an MC. I mean, you got the singer Lionel Richie and you got the drummer Lionel Hampton, but Lionel, the MC, that doesn't ring any bell.
DJ.
Maybe. You know what?
Like D'Angelo. Like Lionel.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. All right. Look, you know what?
We're going down another road. Yeah.
Well, first off, let's get started, and want to know about you all. So, Emilee, if we can start with you, and just kind of give us a brief snapshot of how you grew up.
Okay. So I grew up in the South Bronx.
South Bronx.
That's right. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And I was there for about 14 years before I moved to California. While we were there, or not we, 'cause he wasn't there. Well, I have 4 brothers that live in the Bronx. My mother still lives in the Bronx, but most of my family has been moving out. They've made their way down to Florida. But I have brothers who live still in the Bronx as well. A lot of my family is in New Jersey. We have, we're Puerto Ricans, so we're a little feisty, kind of, sprinkle with some adobo and some sazon, and we got, lots of flavor. And he could fill you in all about
The flavor.
all the flavor.
And then you got introduced to.
Right? All the awakened to it's awakened. Okay, we've got an awakening of flavor.
Nice.
Yeah, so I was there for all through, I did 1 semester of high school there, and then I moved to California, and the rest is history. I'm still here, but I still claim that I'm from New York.
Okay.
I still claim being a New Yorker, even though I go back and I'm totally a tourist.
Well, if I were to just be talking to you on the phone, I think I would know that because you still have an accent and you sound like New York, and yeah. So,
Yes.
but that's the flavor.
Yes, that's
For us
all the
here, anyway.
all the sazon.
Now, did you grow up in a 2-parent household?
I did not. Well, at least for the first couple of years, my parents were together, and then they end up splitting. I think when I was around 8, something like that. And yeah, so then my mother raised me and my brother, but then she ended up having another gentleman in her life, and my brother was produced out of that.
Okay.
And then after I moved to California, she ended up having another son. So
there's 4 of you guys.
right, I'm the oldest.
Is there big gaps in between your ages?
Not with my brother, with my dad, but with the others, yes.
Okay.
Maybe about 8 years, and then the other one is longer. With my youngest brother, it's longer. But then my dad's side, he ended up having another family, and there's a lot of them also.
Oh.
So I'm still the oldest of all the kids.
Okay. Just
And
a lot
the
of
only
half
girl.
siblings
And the only girl. So
Wow.
Yeah.
So, but as
although
far as
he does have stepdaughters, but that's another thing, another story.
so your example of like parents and marriages and couples growing up was mostly just people, just family. It was like a family group of people who were raising children together, and everything was just blended together. Or
Well, most of the people that I knew that I grew up with, they weren't in 2-parent households.
okay.
My grandmother was married to my grandfather, and then my aunt was married to my uncle. But they were like the only 2 out of everybody that, and I had a couple of friends that had 2-parent households, but that wasn't really something that I saw. Most of them were single family homes.
Right. Interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, it's interesting that, like, we all grow up with what our average or what we're used to or what's normal for us. And it's not necessarily an issue until you start seeing other people have different situations. And you're like, oh, well,
That's true. I like
like, was it okay the way I grew up? Or, yes.
Yes.
If you had great people in your life that raised you, right? Even if they were all just women or, all just men. Yeah.
Rob, how about you? What's your background?
Born in LA, but when my parents split, I was around 2. My mom moved back to Alabama. So I grew up in Alabama, so I claim Southerner.
Okay.
We still claiming.
I still claim the South. And to my dad's credit, he made sure that I was with him all the time. So anytime there was a break or, in school, he would fly me out. So I wish I had frequent flyer miles. I would be a million miler at least by now. So I spent all of my summers and vacations with him out here in LA.
Okay.
So yeah.
And you have brothers and sisters?
Between my parents, I'm the only child. My mom remarried, and I have a younger sister. We're about 16 years apart.
Wow.
Yeah. So she grew up only child too, basically.
In Alabama?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So by the time she learned to walk, I was like in college. So.
So how did you get here?
So my aunt and my uncle lived here with their 2 daughters, and they actually were the ones who spoke to my mother and said, hey, we'd like to have Emilee come out and stay with us. And so I ended up moving in with them and their family.
Oh, okay.
And so we went to junior high school, back to junior high school when I got here, because 9th grade started here in California. The school I went to was still junior high.
Oh, wow.
And then they did a whole graduation and all that stuff. And then I graduated into high school.
And that was out in LA?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
In Carson, California.
Okay.
In my school, I went to middle school. Well, we went to elementary school from K through 7. Then we went to one school for 8th grade, all 8th graders only.
Oh,
and
wow.
it was like the only time you were going to be top dog was in high school, and the 7th grade was in elementary school. In 8th grade, everybody was on equal ground, right? And then
Interesting.
And it was from all the elementary schools fed into that one school, 8th grade. And it was kind of a culture shock because even though we were all in the same area in Northern California, there's a lot of different ethnicities. And so to bring them all together in large groups, people would make groups.
Yes.
So everybody would the Asians would be over here, the Hispanics would be over here, the
Yes.
blacks, whites, and it was all based on music you listened to. Really wasn't about culture. It was more about, we
Interesting.
listen to this kind of music, so let's all come together. And it just so happened they were all they were all similar in ethnicity. So, but yeah, that's interesting that 9th grade was considered, in California, considered middle school.
Well, I don't know about all California. I just know this school
Yeah.
did that.
Yeah,
This is
it
how
was
this
small.
school did. Yeah.
The high
I
school was small.
yeah. So I grew up in Carson High. And I went to Carson High. Go Colts. Hey. So there, it was really a mixed group of people. What I thought was interesting, like just when I came here, everybody kind of came around me because of how I talked. And so they were like, oh, she's the new girl. And
Where you from? Where's
where
that?
you from?
Yeah, intriguing. You sound like you're hip hop.
Yes. All the things.
Yeah.
Now, let's fast forward a little bit. How long you guys been married?
We've been married 28 years, going on 29.
Okay. Anniversary's when?
Why you tapping me?
You should say because I want to see if he remembers. No, I'm just kidding. He actually remembers all the time.
Yeah, it's June 15th.
Yes.
June 15th. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Do you guys like see your? Can you imagine? Like, do you imagine? Did you ever imagine you would be here all these years later? Like when you got married, in your mind was this like this is forever, or were you like this is for now, and we'll see what happens?
You know what? I think there were different times in our marriage where all those things came up, right? Like, I think for me at the very beginning, I was like, oh, there's no such thing as divorce. You my boyfriend forever. Like, that's always going to be, like, we're going to be married forever. Like, there's no other, in my mind, there was no other thing that I saw, but as life happens and things start happening, you're like, maybe we're not meant to be, but then how do we all get right? How do we get through that? And how do we, move forward through this adventure that we're calling marriage?
And then evolve at the same time, right? Because you're still growing. I mean, how old were you guys when you met?
when we met.
I mean, I'm not trying to give your ages out, but you know.
Oh, we're not shamed. We cannot be shamed of that. Listen, I'm 53. Hello.
You look good. That's
I am
what it is.
53. And when we got married, we were 25. But we met 5 years before then.
Yeah, we met. We were 21. 20.
20.
Yeah, that's baby.
20. Yeah,
And where were you guys when
20.
you met? Where'd you meet?
We met in Inglewood.
Yeah, we met at work.
Yes.
So what's that situation with?
Well, I had just moved out here after my sophomore year at college. I was, the upper LA uprising had happened, and I had made a decision before finals. I was like, you know what, I'm staying. I'm grown. I'm gonna stay. Get nobody tell. I'm gonna do what I want to do. And so when I got out here, it was like, oh, I need a job.
Yep.
And so, some jobs, ended up at, applying for this teller job at B of A back in the day in Inglewood. And then when I got hired, I came on and she was like training me. She's like, okay, this is me, Emily. She's gonna, show you the ropes. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool.
And there was no flirting going on, or you guys just like, you were just the boss lady, huh?
Yeah, no flirting. We were actually really good friends. Really good friends. Like all through those 5 years, we were dating other people. It was just a really good friendship at the time. Like he would pick me up when my car broke down. We'd have lunch together. Like there was so much friendship in between, and we talked about like everything, I think, during that time.
Too much.
Yeah. All the secrets. All the secrets. Yes.
Now, was that the same thing that was on your mind that whole time, those whole 5 years, or were you're in the same space?
Yeah. When I first met, I thought she was fly. I was like, oh, she's kind of cute. Yeah, she was cool. She was cool. You know what I'm saying? She was cute. And I was like, oh, okay. And then one day, I remember she was helping a monolingual Spanish speaker customer, and she was speaking Spanish. I was like, hey, that sister, she studied Spanish. I took Spanish 1 and 2, and I ain't got it like that. And then she was like, oh, then we were talking about it. She's like, oh, I'm Puerto Rican. I was like, oh, I thought you just a light-skinned sister. But yeah, so to your point, I thought she was fly. You were dating somebody already, right? You were dating Kayla's dad already. So, and I don't know where I was with
Bobby's mom.
Yeah. Anyway, it was cool. We were cool.
Yeah. Well, we found that some of the
and we hung out. So as couples, we was hanging out. And,
that's good.
Well, I think that we've learned that through our own experience, but also through talking to other couples, that sometimes the best relationships are when they come from that friendship first. And honestly, not one person chasing the other to be romantic and the other person just keeps saying no. It's literally like your lives are not ready for each other and you guys are friends first. So there's no, I'm showing off for you. There's no, let me pretend to be a certain way that I'm actually not because I'm trying to impress you. It's the honesty comes out and the vulnerability comes out because in that friendship, you feel a safe, connection. And then that turns into something more, which is basically what other people really want is, to have that baseline friendship in their marriage. But when it starts out all romantic and hot and heavy and chemistry, sometimes it takes a really long time to get to that point where you're with your best friend. So to have that in the beginning is really a blessing that you don't realize until later, especially when you're comparing your relationships to past relationships that you've had or other people's relationships. It's like that stuff in the beginning goes away to a certain point, takes longer for some.
I get so giddy. Like I'm listening to her and I'm watching her and I'm like, oh, she's so dreamy. But every time you say best friend, I tell you that means a whole lot to me, and I feel that wholeheartedly. Like there's some times though we'll be hanging out. And like I'm cooking and she's in the living room and we're talking and she's like, girl, and I'm like, hey, it's me, ladies. But no, I love the fact that, you know, you say that, and then I start thinking about Prince, If I Was Your Girlfriend. Yeah. And like all those things that you would tell, the secrets and the heartaches and everything. So yeah, no, I appreciate it.
And I talk about you to you. Like, you know, if he makes me mad, I'm like, I need to go to him and tell him about making me mad instead of calling a girlfriend and saying, you know what he did today? You know, it's like, you know what you did today? And it makes it, not that I don't need my girlfriends, and not that it's not really important that we have that time, that we're not just, you know, relying on each other for every emotion and every need. But it is something very important about when you have that foundation of friendship. You know, you feel like you know me, so I shouldn't have to explain too much of what my intentions are behind what I'm saying or what I'm doing, because I've laid it out for you already. This is who I am. So it's kind of hard to go backwards from that.
That's true. That's true. So you guys got to know each other, kind of seeing each other from the outside in. What was that moment when it was like, I feel something? What was that flutter? What was that thought? What was that moment for you guys?
It was a couple of moments. I think the first one. So for context, our oldest son's mom passed away, right? And so I remember, my mom had came in town, for the funeral and services and stuff, and so our son was 1. He wasn't even 2 yet. Oh, wow. And I remember being at the services at the memorial, and it was just a lot going on. It was just a lot of drama. It was there's a lot of stuff going on with her mom and, you know, our son, and, you know, it was just a lot of drama going on, and so I ended up going. I think my mom was like, we should go. Right, I wasn't gonna go. Yeah, I wasn't gonna go to the memorial. And then my mom was like, "We should go." And I remember it was a bunch of people there, which was cool. And I remember, like she was the only person I remember seeing, like, vividly in that room. I was like, "Wow, okay." I don't know what that is, but it's cool that I feel grounded, because it was the homie anyway. So okay, it's cool. I feel grounded in this space and time right now. And then the next time, right after that, soon after that, my mom was leaving, and there was a whole hookup thing. I mean,
he was going to introduce me to his friend.
Yeah, I was connecting her with my boy, right? Like one of my guys. Like, and I was like, you know, she's cool, he's cool. You know what I'm saying? That's, you know, that should work out. Right? Something happened, and you know, he didn't make it, and we just end up hanging out that evening before my mom left. And I don't know, some things kind of shifted. So. Yeah,
that's interesting. I had a similar moment like that where I was thinking, who could I connect him with? Because he's such a great guy. And I'm thinking, who's single? And, you know, I wasn't thinking about for myself. Right. I was thinking about, I wanted to make him happy. Right. Like, I wanted him to be happy, however that looked. Yep. You know. Yep. Yeah. And was that around that same time, or was there a moment for you?
No, those were the same times. What's funny is the situation at the church we had never talked about until years later, because there was a moment where there was just a crowd around him, and I was just like, oh my goodness, I can't believe that he showed up, because he told me he wasn't coming. And then I remember, because of the big crowd that was in there, I just remember him reaching his hand out to me and pulling me in. And it was like, okay, this is like a movie. Like, really, like, it's like the room just kind of got cloudy. Yeah. And he was the only person that I saw reaching out his hand to me and kind of pulling me through that crowd toward him. And then the second time was at his aunt's house, the day that he spoke about, where he was going to he had already introduced me to him, but this was the like, get to know my friend a little better. and then that didn't work out. And I left the house like, what has happened? This is my friend. What's happening here? And the whole ride home, because I lived in Anaheim at the time, and we were in South LA. And the entire time I was driving back to my apartment, I was like, now what just happened right here? Like, what was going on? I don't understand.
Yeah, you don't mix messages.
For real, because I was like, and I'm just talking to God. Like, he's my friend. I don't understand what's happening here. I mean, I'm going to need some other kind of sign for you to tell me that this is supposed to be happening and not that other thing. I mean, please talk me through.
Yeah.
Talk me through this, because I was just like, well, where are we gonna go? Where are we going from here?
and I didn't know. So, so at the time we were looking for apartments, right? It's like, okay, we'll be roommates.
Oh,
You got a kid, I got a kid. Okay, cool. If you need a babysitter, I got you. If I need one, you got me.
what were the ages of the children at the
They
time?
were one.
You're right.
Both of them were each one?
They're only a month apart.
They're only a month apart.
Wow.
So crazy. So my son's mom and Emily were pregnant at the same time.
Well, I
Right.
was going to say, you were at the funeral. So in my mind, I'm like, wait, why were you at the funeral? That would have been awkward. But
Everybody was friends.
Yeah.
Right. We
Yeah.
were all friends. So it was funny because I called him up and I was like, hey, I got some news. And he's like, I got news too. He's like, Tiki's pregnant. I am too. We had no idea.
wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So I was at the baby shower. He was at my baby shower. We were friends. We were just really good friends.
So then you took custody of the child 100% after she passed? Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, that was another long story.
Yes, that was a battle.
with his
I'm
grandmother.
sure.
His grandmother at the time. But,
I'm sure. Yeah. That's, but to think about that setup, here you are about to have your first baby and you're becoming a mother to another child at the same time. And it's, it's like all the emotions and all the strangeness, but yet you have to manage it. You have to manage it.
Right. Well, I think for me, one of the things because when I was even before I was 13, I was really the mother hen of all my cousins and my brothers. And, my mother was, she was on drugs, or just like the beginning stages of like her journey.
Addiction.
Yeah. And so, there were so many, I was the babysitter. I was the one who was watching all the kids. So this was just another level of me being with more kids, my own kids.
Yeah. It's different.
And I felt like I was...
It's like a choice.
Right. It was definitely a choice. And this time around, it felt like I was raising twins because they were just a month apart.
Wow. That's gnarly as my white girl comes out. That's gnarly because I'm a stepmom. I've been a stepmom, and before I even had children, I was a stepmom, and I know what that entails when you're brand new at raising children, right? And so to do it simultaneously like that, I mean, just to have twins is crazy enough, but it's to have the separation of adjustment, it's new to you too, to have the child full time. And then you got somebody else having a baby that's not yours, but you're confused about your relationship because you're friends, but yet you feel something and that's
Yes.
you're like, what are you doing?
That's why I the whole ride home, I'm telling you, I was talking to God like, excuse me, sir, what are we doing here?
So when was the first kiss? I guess the kiss would be what seals the deal
That's the thing
that it's
right
not
there.
friendship. How'd that go down? In the hospital room and delivery day, or
No. So our kids at this point are like a year and a half, maybe less.
they're
still a year. They're still one.
and your roommates at the time?
No, we didn't even move in together.
Okay.
We didn't
Not
find
yet.
an apartment. He was just searching.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
And so one day, my family was coming in from out of town, my aunt and her kids. And so they were like, we're talking amongst each other. We're trying to figure out what we're going to do for the night. So we decide that we're going to go to Universal Studios. Just kind of hang out, go eat somewhere or whatever. And I said, well, I'm going to call my friend and I'm going to see if my friend wants to come out with us to go.
Yeah, the homie.
I said, I'm going to see if my friend wants to come. So I asked Robert if he wanted to come with us. And they were dropping like flies in my house. They were like, oh, no, I don't feel like going anymore. I don't want to go. I don't want to go. So it ended up being like, I think my aunt or my cousin that went with us. My cousin went and it was just us and the kids and we're hanging out. And then like a hug might have came. So and then at Universal Studios, by the time we got back to the house, I took my cousin in. I was like, I'll be right back. We were there with the kids. And then we're sitting in the car, just kind of looking at each other like... So in my head, I was like, okay. I said, so why don't you just kiss me? Let's just get the first one out the way. and then we can just move on. Like, let's get the jitters out. Let's just go for it. Get this one out the way. And then we'll just keep moving. Right?
Yep.
That you needed her to do that, huh? Like, where were you at? Like, were you thinking of kissing her but didn't know what to do? Were you guys afraid to be the first one to initiate that there was something more? Or did you just feel it coming?
It was coming.
Yeah.
I guess. I mean, there was a point, even before that night, there was a point I remember we were apartment hunting and shit came over. We were riding out together. I was at my cousin's house. And I remember her walking to the door and I was like, that's different.
I see my future.
She looks right. And so, I guess the Southerner in me want to, but I'm glad, got that out the way. And then we end up getting out the car, and then it was getting more comfortable, and then kissing. Okay, cool. All right. I guess we on the deep end.
Yes. we were definitely in the deep end.
Yeah, so about the car and
yeah,
and
I know it's those rom-coms.
Oh my
and
goodness, I know.
but you're also close and you can't move. So like you're in proximity, you're close.
Yeah,
and then there's just enough room to lean over, right? So. And then there's enough room to get out. If you have to get out the door, you can just get out the door and go.
See the track starting all day.
Lacing them up.
So you guys are living together in an apartment, and things get more romantic. You're raising 2 children together. And when do you guys decide that you're going to do more than that?
Well, we didn't move into an apartment.
Well, even before that,
Right.
I think it was... It got to a point, we had a conversation, and he was like, hey, listen, I see where this is kind of going somewhere, right? And it's like, hey, listen, I don't want, so it's, for me, I
statements.
It was, if this doesn't work out, I lose a friend.
Yes.
And then, who knows? Then it may start this cycle of dating women, and now I'm a single father at that point, right? And so I don't want, this whole bunch of women in his life. And so, we had a conversation about that. I was like, I don't know. If we gonna do this, we should do it. If we not, then, but I'm scared that if it don't work, then this friendship is gone that I cherish. So
yeah, me too.
So that was the conversation.
Well, that's the business conversation.
Yeah.
The business of marriage, right? Yeah. The business of being in a long-term relationship. I think it's smarter than you realize at the time how important that is to actually have those logistical conversations, because the reality is not that you guys are all over each other clamoring to be in the bed. The life goes on, and you guys have to make a family together and make decisions together. So that's important. Even if it feels like, does this work out best for us in the end to just make this decision? Everybody should be having that conversation.
Yeah. So the decision was just get married. So
Right. We were like
3 months later.
we've
got
known
married.
each other for 5 years. we had already known each other for 5 years, and so
Some people say, "How long did y'all date?" Like 3 months.
right.
Well, 5 years and 3 months.
Right. Technically, it was like 3 months.
Courting, I didn't know it.
Right.
And then you got married.
You got to, like I said, you got to see each other. You got to see each other's character. And you all got to see how you all treat other people. Like in a relationship, you got to see her in a relationship and how she treated her boyfriend at the time. And you got to see how he treated his girlfriend. So you see the character of an individual and you're not even trying to put on for each other. It's just, this is how I'm living my life. And you're like, wow, that I can appreciate the character.
Yeah, you
of
don't
an
realize you're
individual.
making choices along the way that are just not consciously. You're not consciously making them, but you're making them.
Yeah. Well, for me, it was a couple of them. You saw me with a couple of women.
I did. I did.
So again, risky. Like, hey, and she know everything.
That needed to happen though, because that's where you get the realization that wasn't for you, and that there's a comparison there that really makes you see clearly that you know, she's my wife. She's wife material. She's the person for forever, and you know, you have to get that stuff out of the way, because how do you make decisions without having the life lessons, you know, and the life experience? So then, when did you guys get married?
Father's Day.
Yes. Yes. But the funny thing is that we actually we got married in the office of the pastor that I was going to church at Greater Bethany in LA. So yes. So I
Watched him on television.
yes, I
She married us.
yeah, we one day after service on Father's Day, we walked across the street with our 2 kids and our 2
The friend that I was looking at.
yes, the friend that he was gonna hook me up with was his best friend. Oh wow. And the young lady that I was roommates with at the time, they were our witnesses.
Okay.
And so we had our 2 kids, and the 2 of them were there. When we made it happen, and before we even did that, we had a conversation right outside the office. It's like, hey, are you sure you want to do this? Because this is a commitment, you know? Like, is this what we want to do? Is this what we're doing? And we cannot do this right now. We can stop and go home, right? And so it was like, oh no, we're moving forward. It's like, all right, then let's go.
Yeah, it's something to find that level of commitment. We were talking about commitment, our commitment to. Well, I was telling her about my commitment to her, and to know that, and to have it, and to hold on to that means so much. So I applaud you guys with your commitment. What was the early years of marriage like for you all?
Well, we had a wedding a year later.
Right.
So
The big wedding.
almost to the day.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
So it's funny, like some of my relatives be like, hey, y'all June 13th, right? Like,
No.
no, it's June 15th. But I remember, like, at some point I had to tell my grandmother, I was like, yeah, we were married before that. Which I'm pretty sure she was happy about, you know, Southern holiness.
You
Grandma
weren't
was like,
shacking
"You
up."
weren't shacking."
Yeah, she was probably like, "Phew."
Like, you know what I'm
Stop
saying?
praying for them not to be in trouble for that one.
Married, Granny. We was married. It's all good. So yeah, I think that first year was a lot of, you know, this planning and you know, the kids are growing. And then and then Kayla's dad, I mean, that was a whole nother situation. So, you know, yeah, that was challenging.
That was the biggest challenge, I think, at the time.
Yeah.
Was just dealing with this other parent who, you know, was involved or not involved, you know, in her life. You know, that was a struggle.
The convenience of being a parent, like that kind of situation where it's convenient for me to be a dad now, but in between the
Or not.
yeah. Well, you guys are both taking on each other's children. It's just, you know, it's just such a hard thing on a relationship. let alone in personally, you know.
Yeah.
When did you all, I know you were, at some point you got pregnant again.
Oh, yes.
And then what was the distance from that pregnancy, and how old were the twins?
8 years.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
8 or 9.
And were you just not even thinking about getting pregnant, not trying, or just?
Oh, no, honey. I wanted a whole host of kids.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
She wanted like 6, 7 kids.
I wanted at least 6 kids.
Wow.
Yeah, because we had 2 apart, right? So that was the blended family. And then I wanted 2 together. And then I wanted 2 that we would like adopt or something, or foster to bring into our home. And like, right, that's what I wanted. But it didn't work out that way. But he was like,
Nah,
aren't
man.
you
I grew up an only child, and it was already too noisy with these 2. And then so I did, you know, we had, of course, 2 together, and then I wasn't feeling being a foster parent. I wasn't feeling that.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, that's a big gap in your ages too. As you grew, you know, you're raising little ones, and you start seeing the reality of what that is like. So then what happened next? You guys had so you had 4 children,
Yes.
and then together, and then when was the first? You said the first one was 8 years later.
Right. So Myles. Myles came in 2003.
Yep.
And then Diego came in 2004.
Okay.
We had him close. Yeah.
So
It almost didn't happen because I was like, oh man, I don't know about having more kids, man. I was like,
wow, you were pregnant
let me go get let me go get a vasectomy
Yes.
because you know, I want to be responsible about this thing. I don't want to have more kids, and we talked about it.
And I-
she was like,
yeah.
"Oh, we're gonna have more kids." I was like, "I don't wanna have more kids."
I know. Listen, after Myles was such a good kid.
Yeah, he
oh
was
my
dope.
God. He was
pretty dope.
he was such a good kid. And so Robert came to me and he was like, isn't Myles such a good kid? I'm like, yeah, he's a good kid. And he was like,
We got our kid together.
yeah.
We good, right?
And he was trying to, you know, convince me. So I was getting my head straight around that, right? And so, you know, the tears come first and you're like, no more? Like, really? And so I was like, well, he is a good kid. You know, we have our family, you know, maybe it'll be all right. All right.
Cool. Let's go to the doctor.
Yeah. So, and I was in pain. I was actually having pains during that time. I was like, man, something's wrong with me. You know, something's going on and I can't figure out what this is. So I had set up a doctor's appointment. We had the same doctor at the time, right? So we make a doctor's appointment together. And I get in the office and the doctor keeps asking me, and she's like, are you sure you're not pregnant? I'm like, lady.
you're like, I just had that. I just did that.
And I'm reading the book. I'm like,
You know, we had a full-on cycle. We had this full-on cycle. I should be good. There's no reason why I would ever think that I was pregnant, like ever. And so she kept going on and going on. I was like, listen,
let's just do it. Get out the way.
let's just get this test, get this out the way,
you
so
can
that we
figure
can
out what's
figure
wrong
out what's
with me.
really wrong with me, you know? And then she came back in and she was like, you're pregnant.
Oh man.
I was like, what? Are you kidding me?
Timing.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at him, he's looking at me. I was just like, I'm in shock. The tears start coming down because I didn't know whether I should be happy or sad because I had just got in my mind that we weren't going to have any more children. So I was just like in shock.
Oh.
And the doctor's like, you gonna hug her or something? And he was like, yeah.
Like, you win.
Like, you know why we're here, right? You know the purpose of it.
I was there. So,
And so she did ask. She was like, "Do you still want?" I was like, "Yeah."
right.
I was like, "For sure."
Yes. So, and then she was like, but you have plenty of time. That's what the doctor was like. You have plenty of time. Like, you don't have to do this right now.
Like, nah, you know, since she's pregnant, you get them skeets out. You know, what I'm saying?
Yep.
Right.
Get them clean skeets out while she's pregnant. I'm good.
Right. Yeah. So that is exactly what happened. That is exactly what happened. And Diego made the cut.
Diego made the cut, man.
He was like, I'm coming.
Right.
Now there's major story with the journey with Myles and Diego. Tell us that journey.
So, when Myles was around 3, he was complaining that his neck was hurting. And, he was just kind of tilt his head to the side. I'm thinking, oh man, he probably slept wrong. Let me give him some Tylenol, to help him, get through the pain, and he should be fine, in a couple of days. So a couple of days went by, and I'm still watching and observing, and I'm seeing, he's not, his neck is still tilted over to the side. He's not, he's telling me he's in pain, and I'm looking at him and something's not right. So let's take him to the doctor. So I took him to his pediatrician, and she was saying, well, maybe he just has the flu. Maybe, that's all it is. I'm like, all right. She's like, well, switch up the Tylenol, take Motrin, see if that works. So about a week later, I was like, okay, so this isn't working. Let me take him to urgent care and see if I can get a different opinion on what might be happening. So we did that. And I think that doctor, this is just my own personal opinion, looked at the notes that were in the system and was probably like, oh, it's probably just the flu. So, and I'm thinking, a flu that lasts 2 weeks? I mean, this doesn't even make sense. So I end up taking him back to his pediatrician, and we had her. She was our pediatrician for years, and I said, look at our son. I was like, this is not the same person who came in here a couple of weeks ago. Something's wrong with him, and we need to figure out what it is. So she told me to take him to.
She saw it. She saw it. She was like, something's wrong. Like, he's different. Because, really like boisterous, gregarious, and like really big personality kid. And he was just like, different. And she
picked up on it.
Kids can't pretend like that.
No, right.
Right. It's real. If they don't look right, it's usually because they're not.
Yes. And so she referred us to go to the emergency room at Torrance Memorial. So we went there, and there was an amazing doctor named Dr. Tarnay who really took his time with our son. And he was like, we're going to figure out what's wrong. So they did a CT scan, and they found out that he had a tumor. And so from there, we were like, it was funny how sometimes you have to pep talk the doctors too. Like, it's okay. We're going to figure out like how to fight this. Right. And he was like, yeah, we're going to fight. Like it ain't over. Like this part isn't over yet. This isn't the end of the story. And he transferred us to Long Beach Memorial, which was Miller Children's Hospital, and transfers over there because Torrance didn't have a pediatrics department or something like that at the time. Right. So we end up going to Torrance Memorial. Robert went with Myles in the ambulance, and then I met them up there, and eventually we were there fighting with the doctors, fighting with the nurses, because they didn't have a pediatric neurosurgeon on staff, which is what our son needed. And so he got on the hotline. He was calling all his people because he's in a fraternity. He's calling all his people. Who we know? Who do we know? Who do we know? They find out that we know somebody at Cedars. And when we get over there, our insurance company wasn't trying to let us go. They were like, your insurance doesn't cover you over there at Cedars. We're like, we have a bed for our son. We have someone that's going to work on him. And Robert's like, I don't care what it costs. We're taking our son out of this hospital and we're going over there. So we end up, they called us out of because the insurance women came over to talk to us about our insurance coverage and all this stuff. And they tell us, hey, can you go to the family room that's just outside of the PICU, which is the pediatric ICU unit.
And we've talked at this point, we've talked to everybody in our insurance carrier up to like literally the vice president. So we have like the head doctor, surgeon of Miller's. He and I are on the phone with like the vice president of this health insurance company. So we were like battling and making the case and advocating. And then they sent over these representatives. And then while they were there, his condition worsened. And so they got to the point where he couldn't move. They had to do the surgery there.
They had to do emergency surgery.
And I was like mad pissed. I'm like, yo, I want y'all to come in here and see him. I want you to see the decision that you were a part of. And, you know, and where it was on his brain, it was impacting his ability to swallow, which impacted his ability to breathe. So he was struggling, right? And the funniest story is before it got to that point, right? Gnarls Barkley was out, and that song "Crazy," and that made me crazy. And so I had that as my ring, right? And so my phone would ring, and he would sing, like Myles was saying, and so that's one of the and the nurses would check that out, right? So this dude is fighting for his life, and at the same time he's singing, right? Yeah. This is the kind of kid he was, right? Yeah. So when he got to the point to where, you know, he was declining, like the situation was getting more tense, then that's when like, hey, I want you ladies to come here and see him.
Yeah, because it's not about your job.
Right,
These are about people's lives.
Right. This is not a number.
You gotta
this
remember.
Is not a case.
Right.
This is a young boy, and I want y'all to see the impact of your decision.
Yeah. Fighting over paying for something they'd have to pay for somewhere else anyway, but because it's not in the network and all of that BS, you know, I get it that they have to review everything, but when it's an emergency situation, you all did what you needed to do for your child, and nobody else matters. We all know we would be fighting and you know, maybe going to jail to get our kid what they needed. So that's a lesson for a lot of people.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes, and really, it's about advocacy, right? Like our whole thing was we need to advocate for this little boy.
Yeah.
Our son is fighting for his life, and he doesn't have a voice here right now. Like that's what our role is as his parents, is to advocate to get him the best care possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so circle back to your question. So what ends up happening is Myles and Diego are like freaking frack, man. They're two peas in a pod, right? They're like the homies. They're like
two more close together.
Because you're apart, right?
Right.
And so Myles is the talkative one, Diego's the quiet one, right? And so when Myles, you know, had his challenges, Diego would carry his backpack, or Diego would stand up for him, or Diego would, you know, was helping him out. It was really really dope to see their relationship, and as it, you know, progressed, especially that time. And at the time, it was interesting at the time when there's so many stories.
Yes.
Right? But when Myles had transitioned, it was like Diego's personality shifted. Like he was seriously quiet kid, very observant though. You could tell that he was watching and taking everything in. And after a little bit after Myles had transitioned, it's almost like
the lights.
He took on the spirit of his brother.
Oh my God. And he carries that to this day. Like he's like a super dope mix of like just who Diego is and his older brother, which is pretty phenomenal.
So Myles lived for 3 years.
Yes.
5.
Oh,
so
we had 5 years. He was diagnosed at 3.
Okay.
He passed.
Transition at 5.
Yeah.
Long fight.
And that
2
fight,
years.
2 years. Well, I think what's beautiful and that we need to make sure that we talk about is the fact that something so tragic that happened to your family turned into something else.
Yeah.
You know, you put your energy from that stuff into something else that's even more beautiful, you know. But sorry.
It's okay.
It's almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's
Somewhat.
Yeah.
Kleenex on your side. Oh, I was expecting you to cry. Thank you. I'll leave it right here.
Yes.
So tell us about the organization that you guys started.
So shortly after Myles transitioned or went home to the Lord, he, we were also grieving through that time. And I was thinking, his birthday's coming up, right? Because his birthday's in January. And I'm like, I want to do something special. I want to celebrate him in some kind of way. And I think I had brought it up to Robert, like, what do you think? What do you think about this idea of us celebrating Myles's birthday? So we, in that short time, because he actually left us in July of 2008, July 30th of 2008. And there's so much stuff that we could talk about that happened in between there. But so that was our first celebration of his life. We had all our friends call. When Myles was in the hospital, at one point he was not able to eat through his mouth. We had to feed him through a tube that went to his stomach, so an NG tube that went to his stomach. So he was struggling but his sense of smell was incredible because he could smell popcorn popping down the hall, pizza, all this stuff. Yeah. All these things that all this other, because we're in the unit, he wasn't able to eat. So he was like, I said, you know what, Myles, we're going to start a list for you. We're going to start a list of all the things that you want to eat. We're going to take this list, and one day you're going to eat something from this list. Or you're going to eat a lot of stuff off this list.
Everything on the list.
You're going to eat everything on this list one day. Yeah, but we started a list of all these things.
And so he was so funny. He got to the point to where he'd be looking at something. He'd be like, Mommy, put that on my list.
Yeah. So he was in and out of the hospital.
Yes.
This wasn't like a
right.
Yeah.
So he yeah. So yeah, he is like.
It's funny, it's being a nurse for so many years. A lot of my patients that couldn't swallow or couldn't eat, they would watch cooking shows. Mm-hmm. And all they wanted to do was see and smell food because your body innately wants to eat, right? Mm-hmm. That's the human nature. You want to eat. So even just smelling it and seeing it, it's okay. Like they want to be around it. They don't want it to be like, you think, oh, I shouldn't eat in front of him. But really, it makes them feel normal.
Listen, I struggled with that because I was in the hospital with him the majority of time. So the nurses would be like, he's okay. Like, you just go take a break. I'm like, I'm not leaving.
Yeah.
I was like, I can't leave. How you want me to eat and my son can't eat? Mm-hmm. Like, it was just this thing that you go through in your head. But hey, he started this list, and we put that list together. So for these celebrations for his birthday, we would ask people, "Hey, I need you to get something off this list." Mm-hmm. This is how we celebrated him. So they would bring pizza, chicken nuggets, Starburst, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, which was one of his favorites. He needed to have his pineapples, like. All the things that were on the list, we had people come. We had, we talked about him. We told stories about, things that, how we interacted with him in some kind of way. Like he was part of a friend of ours, their wedding. And they had picked brown suits for their wedding, right? And Robert he could tell you more about that story. But this little boy was a character. He loved rainbows.
Yeah, he wanted a rainbow suit. So when he got his suit, he was like mad disappointed.
Oh, it's like an opposite of a rainbow. Right.
Man,
that's the ground.
I want a rainbow suit. Like, oh, this is what they wearing, bro.
Right.
And just real quick. Just real quick. So there was a point to where, love Starburst, right? So there was a point to where, it was this after Halloween or something?
I don't know.
So something.
But we had candy in the house.
Candy in the house, right? And, Diego and Myles was always playing, always run up and down the stairs. So there's a point in time it's like, it's quiet. Why is it so quiet?
Where are Myles and Diego?
What are they? Right?
Because our other two, they're in school.
So it was so I guess we found them and they were in the closet, right? Eating Starburst. Right. And so just mouth
when they smile,
Oh my God.
all the Starbursts are stuck to their teeth.
and the look of just glee and happiness on the boys'
And we're like, you're not supposed to be eating that. And he's laughing.
Busted out laughing.
And he's laughing because he's like, yep.
Well, look at that beautiful memory of like that he was happy. And he did all the things and was just a child living his child life.
For sure.
And pooping rainbows after eating rainbows. He got his rainbows, I'm sure.
Yeah.
True that.
Yes. He even got to play T-ball.
Oh yeah.
He got to play T-ball.
They told him that he wouldn't walk
Right.
because the cancer, they got it the first surgery.
First two.
Then it came back in his spine. And they're like, oh man, well if we get it, he wouldn't be able to walk. They're like, we ain't believing that. We not accepting that at all. End up getting it. And so the conversation as he was on this bed and couldn't move was like, I want to play T-ball, right? At some point.
Yeah. Well, a friend of ours, who was his preschool teacher.
Yeah.
So she was his preschool teacher. Because he was actually got a chance to go to school. He was in preschool.
Yeah.
And he actually played T-ball.
Right.
So he was on the team and played T-ball. And after he transitioned, even the place where he played, they put a banner up for him. So.
Yeah. So we end up. I don't even remember where we were going with that.
Well, I'm trying to make sure we talk about the organization you guys started. In his name because it's important. And you guys have a fundraiser coming up and that you do annually. And we just want to make sure we talk about that in time we have.
Okay. So shortly after that, we started Myles Ahead of Cancer. It's to help families just like ours who, were low on resources, were low on just a support system. Although I'll say during the time Myles was going through his doctor's appointments and all that, we had such a circle of friends who really stepped up for us. And I just want to thank y'all for doing that for us. They really stepped up. We kept our children as normal life as possible. They took them to their football practice or soccer practice or cheer practice, all the things. They were there really as a support system for us during that time. And after Myles transitioned, we end up starting the foundation or the nonprofit, Myles Ahead of Cancer, in his memory. And we wanted to be able to support families just like ours. And we have gotten to support families just like ours who just needed, someone to talk to, or they needed, hey, I had one young lady call me. Her son and Myles' son were at the hospital at the same time. And she asked me, how did you know when it was, this kind of time for your son? And so we had that conversation, and I shared with her, like I share with everyone else. I'm like, take a lot of pictures.
Yeah.
Because the last one's the last one.
Yeah, and the videos too, so you can see them
Pictures,
alive. And
pictures, videos.
And
all
one
the
thing we
things.
got a chance to do is at Miller's Children's Hospital, we got a chance to purchase a cart. So in his name that, when it's about that time, or, there's some things that you could do, whether it's molds or handprints or footprints or hair locks or. So yeah, we got a chance to raise some money for that, to give back to the kids who are there. We've with our friends our friend Cameo with his organization Gyms in the Gym, he does an annual basketball tournament in the Bay. This is year 20, and that They do scholarships in his name. So also help families, with bills, whatever, and just the increased awareness of,
Childhood cancer.
cancer, and just having a support system and someone to talk to and a place that's safe where you could talk about this.
Yeah.
With people who have lived experiences.
Right. Yeah. You just pushing the advocacy and encouraging people that, they have more support sometimes than they realize. Not everyone's in the position in their mind to lean on people too. You want to kind of take over and take care of it yourself, or you think you're strong enough, and you've got to sometimes let go and let other people hold you up a little bit.
Yeah. And also the Ronald McDonald House.
Yes.
So, at the time, Miller's Children's Hospital, they didn't have a Ronald McDonald House. So we spent a lot of time on couches and floors in the waiting room overnight. So now they have a Ronald McDonald. And then even then they have camps. So we raise money for kids to go to camp because the camps are for free. They raise money so the kids can go for free. Yeah. And so we got a chance to experience that. So our kids got a chance to go to camp till they aged out. And so we raised money for that also. So there's a walk coming up.
April 26th.
Yes, I was looking for that date.
Right, April 26th.
Yeah. I was gonna pull my phone up. I have my phone already. I'm looking forward to it.
Yes. Hey, come join our team.
Yeah.
Come join our team. Let's keep this camp free for all the attendees that come. They have family camp and they have children's camp or
Summer
teenage camp. They also have something called WOP, which is like for the kids who are older, maybe like 18. They've done a shift though that I've heard recently where they've extended the older kids. So it's really good. We also went to one called Comfort Zone Camp. They also helped with our children, helped them through their grieving process. Yeah. So there are a lot of ways that we want to give back. That's throughout the years, not just this one way. We find that for me, for me, it helps me with my own grieving. It helps me with my own process of acceptance and of where things are. And then I look at it as, how do I celebrate every day in different ways of how our son celebrated his life.
Yeah.
So that's how I see it.
Yeah. Well, I tell you,
you need to.
No, I'm all right.
Yes, you do.
We're going. We good.
You gonna work through this.
Yeah. We got so much more to talk about. So let's get some food.
Okay.
There's some things that we ask about the vows and about marriage and about what are the things that you can share with other couples. I know we are at time. So I want to just,
fast.
Yes, it did. So we're going to continue this conversation and we'll put some items in the show notes, but I want to make sure that we have everyone support your mission, which is MylesAheadOfCancer.org. We want people to get to know you both a little better. So one specific space that I would like to direct people to is to the lounge, Skinny Black's Lounge podcast. So people can just get to know you. You guys are you're a dope couple. I'm so glad that we get to be a part of your life.
And they also do couples relationship coaching.
Yes.
And that's diving within. So you guys have a lot of, you're paying it forward with your experiences and in so many different ways. And I wish we could have got to some of those things today, but you're not just a grieving family that lost a child. You're also helping other people through your experience and then expanding that into, talking about relationships and coaching people through their relationships. Because if there's one thing that'll end people, it's relationship. It's the death of a child. And you guys held on and, I know you have other children, but sometimes the marriage falls apart, and it's not to say that there wasn't bumpy roads in between, but the fact that it's still, you guys are still together, and doing things together to build other people up is pretty amazing. So
living, breathing example of resilience and a testament to relationships. And y'all looking good doing it.
Thank you.
And this is, we love to do this for a lot of reasons, but this is also like a capsule for you to carry forward to for your kids to watch, to see the journey, because sometimes we forget to tell our kids those stories. They were there, your kids were there. So you don't really tell them the story of how you met and what the relationship was like, but one day they're going to ask you, and it's nice to have this to kind of say, well, why don't you watch this, and if you have any questions, I'll fill you in on the rest.
Yes.
But
Well, we're thankful for the both of you.
Oh, we're appreciative of being here. Yes. Thank you so much.
No, of course.
This was an honor.
We're definitely going to continue this conversation. This started on a Sunday when we weren't supposed to go out of the house because I was studying for insurance exam. And Natalie said, "Hey, you're not going to get much studying in today." And
you're gonna make some biscuits.
Yep. So I'm thankful for that day, and not necessarily where, but I'm thankful for that day to be able to meet you all and to have you guys be a part of our life. So thank you for that.
Thanks for inviting us in, and how you've opened up a space for us to share and share, your life and your journey also, and mad appreciative of that. And hey, you've been in the lounge.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Get you back in the lounge.
I can't wait. I can't wait. My Mondays get cloudy because planning commission and then some consulting work. But
we're thinking about shifting today.
Okay.
Because Rennie, well, he be working, man. So Mondays is a stretch for him. So we might have to switch today.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
I'm all in.
Let me know when.
Oh, yes. Too easy. I'll be there. And for you, come check it out. And thank you for being here with us at Couples Unfiltered. We're happy to be back. We're excited for this season. We got a lot of great couples, a lot of great stories. And like always, continue to love and share that love.
Yeah, and check out the show notes where we have some more information about the organization and the other things that they do. And we'll see you. See you soon. Just don't forget to like and subscribe and follow us on YouTube and Spotify and Apple Music, wherever you get your podcasts. And follow us on Instagram at couples_unfiltered. Yeah.
Well, and you're gearing up too. We're gearing up for Juneteenth, 2026 in San Marcos.
Yep, we're doing things a little different this year. Yeah. So reserve June 19th, Friday evening, and be prepared to be wined and dined.
But you got to be fast because tickets will be limited.
Yeah, people are buying tables this time. So
exciting. Exciting.
It'll be fun. All right.
Thank you all so much.
See you next time. Just a quick reminder, we are not licensed therapists, and everything we discuss here is based purely on our personal opinions and life experiences. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with a friend, and don't forget to subscribe so you'll never miss a future conversation.
This podcast is brought to you in collaboration with A Different Day Radio Productions, a podcast network bringing radio to the modern age. It's recorded at the Film Hub in Vista, California, a creative, collaborative co-working environment. Thank you so much for tuning in.